Welcome back to my channel, artists. Today we will be drawing buildings using perspective. Step number 1, draw a large circle. For my circle, I'm tracing a styrofoam plate to fill up the page. Step number 2, add continents. For mine, I'm going to be drawing realistic continents from our Earth, South America, Africa, and Antarctica, but you can create imaginary continents if you would like. Step number 3, add a point, a vanishing point, and draw a rectangle. Step number 4, connect your corners of that rectangle to the vanishing point. Step number 5, draw more buildings. Now you're going to continue to draw more and more buildings around that dot to fill up your city. Each of these rectangles is a building as it connects to the vanishing point. How many buildings you decide to draw is up to you. You do want to make sure that you fill up the page. Because my city on the bottom right hand side didn't really fill up the page very well, I went ahead and added another city in another continent. You can choose to do that. If you have 2 worlds on your paper, you could maybe have a city in each of the worlds. It's up to you, but you do want to make sure that you're paying attention to that idea about composition, filling up the page in an interesting way, and not leaving large areas empty. Step number 6, connect your details to the vanishing point. You do want to make sure that your details are connected to the vanishing point, because if you just draw windows wherever you want, they don't look realistic. This step is a little bit tricky. It's kind of one more difficult, more challenging part of perspective. So here I'm going to take my ruler and I'm actually going to draw lines that connect directly to the vanishing point. From the top of my building, I'm going right down. My first set of windows will actually be the easiest set of windows to draw. A lot of people think it's not as much fun, but I'm going to actually make an entire wall of windows like on an office building. So I'm going to take my ruler just parallel to the top of that building and going right down towards the vanishing point, making those windows closer and closer together to help create that illusion of perspective. On the left-hand side of my building, I'm going to draw windows that do not connect. So again, those lines are going to the vanishing point. I'm going to draw the top line of the window, the sides are along those lines that connect to the vanishing point, and the bottom as it goes down. There's a lot more erasing on this step, so it is a little bit, just a tiny bit trickier. Not all of your details have to be windows. They could be siding or other kind of details as well. For mine, I just wanted to draw a few lines that connect to perspective. They don't all have to actually be windows. So for this building right here, I've got just some lines that go all the way down to the vanishing point, just something to make it feel a little bit more realistic, a little bit more detailed, and a little bit less empty in the buildings. Continue doing that for some, but not all, of your buildings throughout your picture. Step number 7, add dark values at the vanishing point. So towards the vanishing point, you're actually going to take your pencil and you're going to do some pencil shading where it's darker at the vanishing point and gets lighter as you get up to the top. This might be a step you want to practice on another piece of paper, blending from dark values to light values. Once I've finished blending a little bit with my pencil, I like to take my finger, as you notice, and kind of smear it together a little bit to make those values a little bit more gradual, a little bit more of that ombre kind of feel in the buildings. Step number 8, add dark values around the edges of your world. So this part is a little bit trickier. You'll notice I went ahead and put a paper towel underneath my hand so I don't smear the beautiful work that I have in the center of my paper. So I'm going to take my pencil, now that I'm a little bit better at pencil shading and have practiced that, I'm going to take my pencil and color dark around the edge and then smear it a little bit so that it has that kind of rounded feel. And I'm going to do that throughout the entire Earth. Right now I'm going to leave most of my continents pretty empty. I have a different plan for those later. But go ahead, go around your entire world, coloring the edge dark and kind of smearing it out to have that blended feel. Step number 9, add medium values to the land. So softly, instead of pressing hard and dark, softly I press on my paper around the edges of that continent, and I'm going to smear it and make just a little bit of different value to the continent. So you've got a little bit of differences in value. You've got the dark areas around the edges of the Earth, the medium values in the continents, and the light values in the world. Step number 10 is an optional step. Step number 10, you can actually increase the contrast in the value. So when I was finished with mine, it didn't quite feel finished. So I went back in and I added more dark values around the outside edges of the Earth to make it feel a little bit more round and have more of the dark to balance out so much of those light values in the sky and in the ocean of my picture. I hope you have enjoyed watching how to draw buildings using perspective. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to keep up to date on all the fun and fantastic things that we are doing in the art classroom. What will you create?